Hey YouTube, happy Saturday. As you can see, I went for another run today. We did the same route that I went on last Saturday or Sunday. So went past City Hall and then did the hilly part and then got to the Painted Ladies, the park over there again. Tried to sprint up slightly some of the hills to get a little bit more of an exercise, but it was pretty good. Coming back 4 or 5 blocks away from the apartment, I went the wrong direction. I was even looking at the map on my phone. I was like, okay, I'm going the right direction, even though I didn't realize what block of street I was on really. And then once I got to Market Street and I double checked the map again, it's like, that doesn't look like home. I realized I had ran like 2 or 3 blocks past my house. Also, as you can see, they are doing the protests at City Hall. I didn't know that the protesting was scheduled for today or anything like that. I haven't really been trying to read the news because it just gives me anxiety. But I saw it coming back, so I took a little video of it. Having a pretty lazy afternoon. I'm looking at house listings again. There's usually at least one listing every single day that pops up. We haven't found like an extremely good listing where I want to like go view it or I'm super excited about. But a lot of the stuff that's coming out in my search, they're all good enough for me to like take a second look at all of them. So I've spent a lot of time looking at listings now, but it's a lot of stuff that's coming out. A friend just sent over me that they're imposing a curfew down LA where he is right now of 8 p.m. and I start looking at the news. Apparently it's pandemonium in many cities across the US because of all the protests. So people are rioting, basically setting things on fire. Police cars are getting smashed. I can understand where the anger is coming from though. It's not the first time we've had an incident like this between people of color and the police. When we're at the height of a particular incident like we're at now, the politicians, they all make a statement because they have to. I'm reading here, New York City mayor posted something on his official Twitter. So he's talking about racism being structural, it's bad for people of color. It's all fine until the last line. It reads, "We will do better." I think most people will read that and be like, okay, that's like good leadership, blah, 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 whatever. To me though, it just reminds me every time something like this happens, politicians, police chiefs, or the president or whoever always say, we'll do better, or they say whatever just because it's what people want to hear. I never see anything come out of it. Like, what are we going to do to serve justice, to prevent stuff like this from happening, to actually achieve more equality than we have now? It's always talk. Talk is always cheap. We will do better. That kind of makes me mad. What are you going to do to make it better? In 2 months, this will be old news and you won't be doing anything. Alright, having spent most of the afternoon looking at house listings, the reason I spent so long, you thought I'd be looking at listings every day, right? It's not like 50 new listings every single day. It's 1, maybe 2 listings a day on average. But the thing is, I have realized that HOA fees, which are fees you pay in an apartment or a condo to the building management, those are extremely expensive. It sounds like, oh, an extra $200 or $300 or $400 is not that bad, but in some places the cost is like $600, $800. I just saw a listing now where it was $1,200 a month just for the HOA fee. And that's on top of what you're paying for your unit itself. I did a little digging and it says that certain amenities really drive up the price of the HOA. For example, elevators apparently are like $500,000 and they need to be replaced every so often. They don't last forever and they need a lot of maintenance. And if you need it to be repaired, that's actually really expensive too. So the advice apparently is get a place without an elevator, maybe a low rise so you don't have tons of stairs to climb, and that would save you a ton of money there. Some of these HOAs are so expensive that I'm now actually looking at places that don't have an HOA. So these are usually just like regular houses or certain types of townhouses where the price tag on those might be $50,000 or even $100,000 more. But because you're not paying the HOA, it makes it a lot more affordable in terms of how much is coming out of your pocket. Now, the downside of not having an HOA and just having your own whole entire house is that you are financially responsible for anything and everything that goes wrong with that house. An HOA would take care of the building itself. If there is a roof issue or like an issue with like the water heater, the HOA is responsible for fixing that. That's what comes out of the monthly HOA fees you pay. If you just have your own regular house and the roof starts leaking, you're fucked. That's thousands and thousands of dollars out of your pocket. So there are pros and cons to both. But for example, this is not a place that I can afford, but I was just looking at this really nice house that's in a good area and it goes for $1 million, which I can't afford. That's just comparing it to a condo that was $750,000 or like $800,000. Between these two places, the monthly payment comes out to be the same. But with the $1 million house, it was 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, it was 3 levels. It had a 2-car garage built right into it, and the kitchen was like gorgeous. I wouldn't modify any single thing in this kitchen. It's perfect. The bathrooms were all really nice, and it was really new construction too. It was like 5 or 10 years old. Everything inside is super modern. There's also a little patio off the living room, and because it's 3 levels in a townhouse, you get your own private deck on the roof. And because you're high up, there's actually a little bit of a view, and you can see the Hollywood sign from there. Or you can be stuck in the $750,000 condo with neighbors above you and below you and beside you. No private rooftop patio, no view, and be paying like $800 in HOA just because sometimes the elevator needs to be fixed. This is kind of maybe expanding my search a little bit. That's why I've been digging at this for like the last 4 hours. I think we're at least 10 weeks into lockdown now. So that's how long it's taken to go over 2 rolls of toilet paper. For the rest of the night, it's been a while since I watched RuPaul's Drag Race actually, and this is episode 12 of the current season. Don't worry, I do not have spoilers for you because it's been so long that I was watching it that I'm partway through episode 12, which is Viva Drag Vegas, and I have no idea what the episode is about. Also, I realized a lot of my vlogs the last few days have been like really long. I try to aim for about 10 minutes or so. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to read comments. So put more comments down there. If there are any random questions you have, if you have house shopping advice, maybe you can help me decide whether I should get a actual regular house, even though it might be a little bit further away from WeHo because there's no houses that I can afford, or if I should stay in WeHo and just do a condo. Maybe you guys can tell me about pros and cons. Maybe you guys can give me your opinion on Lady Gaga's new album that I reviewed yesterday. If you guys are watching Drag Race, maybe you guys can chime in on what you think so far. By the time you watch this, I would have watched episode 12. Don't give away the episodes after that, but comment down below and then I'll look at you guys' comments tomorrow, and then we'll spend a good chunk of tomorrow's vlog answering your questions and going over your comments. Until tomorrow, bye YouTube.